Okay, good afternoon. We are outside in our optional flight drone lab. This is lab 1 for Geo 362 remote sensing. I'm sorry some of you couldn't be here. We have a few folks here and I expect others will arrive soon. So the first thing I wanted to do was go over this sheet, and I'll hand it to all of you. This is kind of the cheat sheet for safety in drones, okay? So I've asked some questions here just so that you all can see answers to these questions, okay? So the first question is, how far should I fly my drone away from me? Well, it's a good question. My Mavic 2 Pro can go 8 kilometers. That's pretty far. But you should maintain visual sight of your drone at all times. That's the goal, visual line of sight. Because you never know what kind of situation might occur. You might lose connection to your drone, or heaven forbid, an aircraft might come flying by, and you've got to do something about that, okay? Secondly, what is the allowable maximal flight altitude I can fly my drone? Well, different countries have different rules, and in the United States, the Federal Aviation Administration, the FAA, requires all non-107 certified operators a maximum of 400 feet. If you go through the 107 certification, which requires you to do a class basically, and then you take an exam for $150, it's renewable every 2 years, then you could become a professionally licensed drone operator in the United States, and you could exceed that 400 feet as long as you're authorized by the FAA to do it, okay? So even today, I've got FAA authorization to fly our drones in this spot. And I use Air to Map. It is an application on my phone. It's just an app, not Air to Map, Air Map. And I've registered my drone, and I go through that app, and then I get FAA certified. So whenever you fly your drone, you should use some app like Air Map. And there's other ones. I think there's one called Kitty Hawk, and there's a couple others out there. So I recommend Air Map because it's so easy to use and it gives you quick authorization, okay? Third question is, if you're within 5 miles of an airport, can you fly your drone? Yes. If you have FAA permission, you may fly your drone within the boundaries of the 5-mile radius. Right now, we're actually in the 5-mile radius zone, and we have authorization to do that. The FAA authorizes it, and then they let any helicopters around here know, because they're the ones that most likely would crash with our drone, not to fly in this area. Sometimes that doesn't happen, so you have to always be aware of that. The next question is, can you fly your drone at professional sporting events? No. Major League Baseball, the NBA, the NHL, MLS, and NFL all forbid this, so don't do it. Earlier this year, I was watching a game in Boston, online, of course, MLB.tv. Boston Red Sox were playing a game. Somebody flew a Mavic 2 Pro right into the stadium. They had a drone delay. It was amazing for 20 minutes. Don't do this, okay? All right. What if I want to fly? Oh, sorry. Are there any places in the USA I can't ever fly my drone? Yes. There are places with restrictions. In major urban areas like Washington, D.C., you can't fly within 15 miles of the downtown airport. I think that's Reagan. In national parks, you can't fly your drone. You can't even get exceptions unless you're a movie company. And there are others. So always check with authorities before you fly your drone. Next one, what if I want to fly above 400 feet altitude? Is this possible? It is possible, as long as you're 107 certified, okay? What are the privacy laws related to drones? Well, privacy and invasion and trespassing laws do apply to drones. It's a little fuzzy right now, but depending on the circumstances, you might be legally liable for invasion of privacy if you don't have permission to fly in certain areas. Furthermore, local and state law guide the final decision issues on privacy, so you should be aware of the rules and consider what privacy, invasion, and trespassing situations might be present in your drone flying time. Just be aware of it. It's a little windy out here. Next question. I have FAA permission to fly, but an aircraft, a helicopter or a plane, is flying low and looks like it's going to potentially crash into my drone. What do I do? Well, this could happen, and you should do your best to move your drone. Save your drone as quickly as possible. This is the primary reason you should always maintain line of sight with your drone. At the end of the day, the FAA has approved your flight, but you might not be able to get your compensation for your drone if it crashes into the aircraft without significant legal investment in the courts. Just might not be worth your time. Next one, do I have to register my drone? In the United States, yes, you should register your drone with the FAA. The rules continue to change, and they change rapidly, so just be aware of this. But you can register your drone at the website I have on the sheet, and the cost is $5 per year to register your drone. Right now they have it set up so that you register for 3 years, so for $15. And last, I don't think there's a privacy issue, but I know that there will be people flying, I'll be flying over people. Is that a problem? It is a problem. Interestingly enough, in the United States, you're not supposed to fly over people unless you have permission. So the FAA requires you not to fly over people unless you have their permission, and if permission is not possible, a solution to flying over people is that you just don't fly over them, you fly at an angle to them, okay? You fly at an oblique angle. And furthermore, if you can post signs to notify people that there's a drone in operation in the area, and that by being in the area they're giving their consent to this, that's even better, okay? That's a hard one to do. That's a real hard one to deal with, okay? So those are the top ones I wanted to talk about. I will try and give you a demonstration of AirMap at another time, maybe in a less contested outside environment. But now I'm going to show you the course. So we have 4 setups. So why don't you all come with me and I'll show you them. Okay, so here we have 4 gates that just go straight out. We have 4 setups here that increase in difficulty for operation of your drone. The goal here is to fly out and then fly back, okay? Obviously, this is a really easy one. It's pretty much just straight out and straight back. You want to try and stay, between 10 and 15 feet above the ground. That's the goal. We're authorized today to fly up to 300 feet. So if you want to go flying around this area, no problem, okay? All right. Here is the next set of gates. You can see that we've got a little bit of an angle this way, and then an angle that way, and then back, okay? I've tried to space it out so that it still stays pretty straight, okay? As you start to do these kinds of exercises, you really start to gain spatial kind of perception and distance, because you'll be operating around structures sometimes that are really weirdly spaced. And sometimes you have to go around them and over them and through them. So this gives you kind of that depth perception option. Okay, this one might be difficult to see with the sun, but this one you've got an angle here and then a very far out, okay, gates. Okay, so as you think about doing this one, pay attention to the distance between the gates and work your way through the gates. And then as you turn around, make sure you have enough space beyond that last gate so that you don't hit the gate poles themselves. And then this last one here is a really difficult one. It doesn't look that difficult, but it is. So here you can go either direction. So you could go out, but then you can see the gates over there. They're spaced about 4 or 5 feet apart, but you have to angle yourself between them. Sometimes it's good to have a spotter over there just to verify that in fact you did it, or if you're verifying it on your phone with the visual cues that are available on your phone, then you'll be able to see if you've successfully navigated through that gate or not. And then return it back here. So it's somewhat of an oval circle. Exactly. Okay? So those are the exercises for today. And now we're going to fly some drones. Thanks everyone. Bye.